Hey, what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope and Dope Report. It's real late at night. Just got home from work. I work at a bar. Um, real late. I think it's like 2:30 or something like that. I figured I'd do some videos. Like I said to all my subscribers before in a couple videos, and I had some serious computer problems. Basically, that computer is shot. So I'm just saving some money to actually get a good computer, not just an okay computer. So I should have one here in a couple weeks. Anyway, so it is taking me a while now that I'm back from Sweden. Thanks for all the support on those videos that I made over there. When I first started the first couple months, that's how I put out videos a lot, At least a handful, 2 to 3, maybe 4 a week. So I'd like to keep that pace, obviously, but I can't because I got to go to my buddy's house. Even my roommate's computer upstairs from where I live, he, for whatever reason, I can't upload videos on them. So anyway, let's not talk about this. Let's talk about the video at hand, okay? And I've seen it a lot on the internet from a couple shows. What is boxing? What does boxing mean to them? So I got a couple things written down, and I just think boxing. Now, I'm a big football fan. I love college football during the regular season. Obviously, there's some politics and bullshit at the end a lot of times. College basketball I love. Love the tournament. I mean, that's the best thing you can have as far as figuring out who's a champ. The tournament is pretty cool. I like pro sports, pro basketball, pro football. I like sports, you know what I mean? But boxing, boxing is my shit. I liked that when I was a kid. Before I liked any other sport, I liked boxing. I did from about 98 to 2003, I gotta admit that I didn't love it as much, you know what I mean? Still watch the big fights, still watch the average fights. I didn't follow it though. I didn't follow it, and anyway, so I'm basically it's back to being my favorite sport. Since about 2003, it's really when Manny Pacquiao got going, and I just started picking it up again, and whatever. A lot of times it's I happened to be dating a girl that had HBO and Showtime, so all of a sudden I started seeing more fights, that type of thing. And so anyway, this is what boxing means to me. I mean, basically, it's just something. It's one of those things like when they say, where were you when President Kennedy was shot, and when Obama got elected, where were you? The things that you remember, you'll always remember where you were. Like, I'll give you an example. When Tyson got knocked the fuck out by Douglas, I was actually all alone because I was a kid at my house, and I cried, man. I was probably, I don't even know, to be honest with you. I think I was in 8th grade, something like that. And maybe 9th, I don't know. But it made me cry, man. I could not believe it. My mom came home. She was out with her boyfriend at that time. And she came home like, "What's wrong, Chris?" I'm like, "Mike Tyson just crying." I was freaking out. Like, you'll always remember where you were when Tyson bit Holyfield's ear. You'll always remember. That's what I love about the sport. Not only that, but overtime games are great in other sports. But in 45 minutes, because you figure, right around 45 minutes or 20 minutes or 5 minutes or 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is, you don't get that much drama and action and everything in between in just that short of time. I think that's where boxing basically, it basically, that's the biggest difference in my opinion. And just to get a whole room full of people against each other or for each other or all rooting for one guy or they got bets all over the place. A lot of things is, it brings your friends and family together. It brings races together. There's a lot of times I'll have a black person over here. I'll be going for the black person. He'll be going for the white person. You know what I mean? So it's just a great thing that way. I wrote some other things down. Individual. That's another thing. You get to see adversity individually. Not a team, not a this, but one guy. In women. not to leave them out, because they fight hard too. Let me see what I got for time. You just see so much from one person, so much emotion. What else do I got written down? I mean, you see so many different things from a fighter that make you happy, that make you sad, that make you pissed off, that make you go, what? I mean, there's so many shocking things, like when Pacquiao hit Hatton in the second round. I mean, it was one of those things. There's a perfect example, I think, because of the emotion of high, like, oh my, and then all of a sudden after a couple minutes you're like, oh my God, like you could say oh my God in two different ways, because all of a sudden you seen Hatton, flutter eye, and I'm not trying to poke fun at him, but he was doing the flutter eye, and it was scary all of a sudden. I seen a couple of videos actually after that fight, and a lot of people were at the high level with Pacquiao winning, and it was like, oh my God, is Hatton okay? So you just get a range. I mean, shocks, upsets, random stuff that can happen in boxing that really doesn't happen in other places, other sports, I should say. I mean, that's the thing. And most people, even if they don't really like sports or love sports, most people love a good scrap. It kind of goes back to the schoolyard. You know what I mean? I'll meet you at so and so's house, or at the park, or right here in the locker room, right in the locker bay. I mean, everyone would lock down, make sure the teachers couldn't get in, and watch everybody fight. And it must be like a natural instinct. But some people that don't even like my father, for instance, he's not a huge fan of other sports. But, he grew up, he's 61 right now, so he grew up in a time of great boxing. So he'll always, that's something we always have in common. We always watch boxing together, and that's just a sport that he loves. Let me see what I got for time. What else do I got written down here? Well, another thing is the life stories. I mean, you get a lot of different life stories just off of sheer numbers from other sports. But there's so many different life stories that you can learn from, that it can make you excited and pumped up to want to watch the fighter. It's just so many stories. Every fighter has a story, and I think that's another thing, that it's so individual that in emotion. Now there's here I'm up in Minnesota, the Packers against Minnesota. That's a huge rivalry. There's a ton of rivalries, and that's crazy. But there's just something about not even having money, but for me, having money against the person I'm sitting right next to. And whatever, just pride, whatever. There's something about just that one guy, and people get so emotional over it. And obviously, a lot of people that, watch YouTube boxing shows, or people that make them, the videos, they see the emotion coming out of certain fighters, and you can just see, like, man, you're just way off base. But even the haters, you gotta love sometime, because they're still giving you views. You know what I mean? So basically, that's what boxing means to me. It's just an all-purpose. What else do I got written down here at the end? I only got a little more time. I mean, I guess it's just a never forget type of thing. And hype. I'm forgetting hype. Speaking of storyline, there's so many storylines in boxing, and the hype shows, the countdown shows, the 24/7s. I mean, there's just so much nice built-up hype. And sometimes you're just happy no matter what. Sometimes it's a win-win. To be honest with you, when Cotto and Pacquiao fight, it's a win-win for me. You know what I mean? When Marquez and Mayweather fights, that's a win-win. Let's say Pacquiao and Floyd came out of that. That's a win-win. You either get to see a guy go against another good fighter and come out undefeated, or you get to see a history taking an O. You know what I mean? You get to see Floyd's O go. So either way, it's a win-win. So I guess that's what boxing means to me, and I've really enjoyed a lot of these videos that people have been making. So anyway, this has been the Rope-A-Dope Report. I am your host, Chris Carlson. Peace.